Am I the bad guy for refusing to pay for my sister's husband's surgery with my inheritance college money? Context: my sister and I lost our dad a year ago. He was my only parent. Mom was never in my or my sister's life. Dad left money inheritance for me and sister, and she used her inheritance to get new cars and renovate her house. I live with my aunt right now cause my brother-in-law didn't let me stay with my sister. I'm planning on using my inheritance money to pay for college tuition. I've always wanted to be a doctor but haven't decided which branch yet. My sister and I haven't been close. It started after she got married to her chronically ill husband, who was allowed to make backhanded comments about dad and mock his illness and make a scene at his funeral, only because he is ill and shouldn't be held accountable for his behavior. I've distanced myself, but my sister kept visiting a lot lately, venting about my brother-in-law condition. He's been in and out of the hospital for heart problems and in need for a surgery. She brought up my inheritance money several times, but I ended up cutting the conversation. She then straight up asking if I could help pay for her husband's surgery, and she would pay back in less than a year. I felt uneasy because if I give her money for my inheritance, which is a large amount, then there is no guarantee she will pay back before it's time to apply for college. I'm taking a year gap, but I know my sisters can't pay back that much, and I feel I was risking my future. I refused to help, and she had a meltdown at my aunt's house, calling me heartless, cruel, with no empathy. She said that her husband's health should be a priority, and I needed to help because education is nothing compared to someone's health, and asked if I'd be happy to see her as a widow and my nephew with no father. My aunt suggested others pay, but most of them cut my sister and her husband off. I argued that her husband's poor health isn't my fault after she kept blaming and guilt-tripping me. She kept crying, and although my aunt decided to stay out of it, she said that I should be prepared for permanent damage in my relationship with my sister if I don't help her now. She's been sending texts and pictures of her family telling me this is what I was saying no to. A happy, healthy family with a healthy husband and father. I cried and felt like I was being selfish, not a good aunt and sister. I asked my friend and he said let them sell the cars and all the luxurious stuff they bought to afford the surgery, and warned me if I give them money, I will never get it back and may not be able to go to the medical school. So, am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for walking out of the airport when I saw my husband's mom standing there with her luggage? Hello, female 30. I don't have the best relationship with my husband's mom. Since day one, she tried to make remarks and compare me to her. She then tried to get on my good side and started overly praising everything I do. And sometimes even copying me, like that one time when she literally dyed her hair purple just like mine. And when everyone pointed out how ridiculous she looked, she actually blamed me and accused me of trying to make a joke out of her. So anyways, my husband and I took 2 weeks off to go visit some places out of the country, like tourism in other words. I think it was the one who saved up for and arranged for the trip. My husband was responsible for booking the tickets. My husband's mom wanted to come alone and threw temper tantrums when I said no. She called, texted, sent people to talk to me into letting her come, even threatened to call the police and make some complaint up to get us to stay if she can't come. My husband said we will just take her, but I told him he was wrong to tell her about the trip in the first place. He gave me an ultimatum, said he wouldn't go if she can come. And I told him I would gladly call his bluff, which made him take his words back and say fine. I will tell her to stop it because we won't take her. Things got quieter, suspiciously quieter. The day of the trip came, and we got to the airport at the 2 p.m. My husband was walking ahead of me and was looking left and right like he was looking for someone. I asked him, but he didn't respond. He led me to the waiting area, and first thing I saw was his mom sitting there with her luggage. I froze in my spot. I felt a cold wave washing over me, and I was foaming inside. She and my husband were hugging. That's when I quietly turned around and started walking towards the exit. My husband followed me while shouting at me to stop. He tried to stop me, but I told him off the harshest way possible. He tried to say I was overreacting and that his mom was there anyway, and I should let it go and not mess the trip up for us. I told him he and his mom could still go and that I was going home. I went home and sobbed into my dog's fur for several minutes. It turns out he booked her a ticket without my knowing. An hour later, he came home yelling and raging about how pathetic and spiteful I was to walk out and go home and ruin the trip last minute. I told him he caused this to happen. He said that I was being so hard on his mom, it's ridiculous. I refused to fight anymore, but he kept on berating me, then called my family to tell them that the trip was cancelled and that it was because of me. My family said that I should haven't ruined it for myself and I should have sucked it up and done my best to enjoy. Did I really overreact or not? What do you think? I'm at the bad guy for suddenly getting up and walking out of the restaurant during New York Eve dinner after I was told to pay for everyone at the table, my in-laws. Hello, I'm a female, 32. I recently inherited a good amount of money from my mom. I keep the money in a separate accounts, as I still haven't decided what to do with it, and I didn't want it to go to waste. I noticed my husband constantly bringing up the inheritance money and making countless suggestions as to how I should spend it. Another thing is that he expects me pay for nearly everything the past couple of weeks. For New Year Eve, my husband and I met up with his family at the restaurant to celebrate. I was going fine until I found out that I was expected to pay for everyone at the table. My husband's mom joked about paying for dinner out of my inheritance pocket, which made me livid, but I showed no reaction. Just silently paid for my own food and drinks, then got up and made my way out of the restaurant. They were shouting after me like a crowd, and my husband tried to get me to come back, but I drove home. He got back at 3 a.m. yelling at me, saying I was pathetic to get up and walk out on him and his family after they relied on me to pay for their food and thought I was gracious enough to do it. But they were wrong. He said I humiliated him and family, and that what I did was an attempt to get back at them for not being able to help mom when she was sick. Not true, is all I'm gonna say. He's mad and is saying that I caused a huge rift between his family and me when it wouldn't have hurt me to pay for the celebratory dinner. So I'm not the bad guy here. I'm not the bad guy for telling my son he deserved his girlfriend breaking up with him. So my son had a long-distance girlfriend recently for about 2 years. She was great and really nice girl, and we all loved her, welcoming her with open arms. She was flying here constantly to visit him, like a week in a month, and he didn't lift a finger to go visit her. I tried talking to him about it several times and told him he should really start looking into flying over to her instead of expecting her to do all the traveling. He said no. And my wife probably had something to do with it, as she constantly told him she was afraid of him flying. I spoke to them both and said the girl is great for him. She was willing to move over to our country too, but said there was one condition, and that was he'd have to fly over to her country too, which is fair enough. He said no, he didn't want to fly or travel anywhere. My son was becoming lazier and lazier, eventually telling his girlfriend and us that he was perfectly fine never traveling anywhere, including holidays. Last week, he told us she's dumped him. I went in her Facebook page, as we are all still friends. She wrote us an apology letter about how she's upset it didn't work out, but there things happen, so we're on good terms. And looks like she with a new guy already. Me and my wife have no doubt she was seeing him while still in a relationship with my son. I confessed to them both that I actually agree with her decision, and he should have expected it. He did not treat her properly, and I hope he learns lessons for the next one because he needs to make more of an effort. I said he deserves it for his lack of effort in the relationship and for essentially just allowing this girl to spend all her money and time coming here all the time. Wife and son are very upset that I say this. Very, very upset. And my wife says I'm being horrible. Like, am I? I stand by what I said. Am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy? Telling my parents to pay me back my college tuition if they wanted a relationship. I was raised by parents who believed religiously and just culturally in rigid gender roles. Dad should work, mom should stay home with the kids. I'm the only girl and have 3 brothers. Because of their expectation, I will stay home with kids that never valued my education, educational achievements, or emphasized things beyond domestic skills. I'm the second youngest. By the time I was in high school, my 2 older brothers had gone to the college of their choice, with my parents fully covering tuition, books, an off-campus apartment, and other living expenses. They eventually did the same for my youngest brother. I was told I wasn't allowed to apply for college. I did so in secret and got accepted with a practical scholarship. I didn't tell them I was moving out until a week before I left, with essentially nothing but what a few friends gave to me that their parents bought them for college. I took engineering. I had to work, take on debt and struggle. My parents and I have barely spoken for years. I'm married now and expecting our first child, and they asked to meet up. We met at the park and they said that we're sorry if they caused me pain, but I would like a relationship now. Asked them specifically what they were sorry for. They wouldn't elaborate and just said they wanted to move forward. I said that wasn't sufficient. In the end, I said they could provide they were sorry by forwarding me the $100,000 my degree in college expenses were, just like they did for my brothers. My mom burst into tears, and Dad said I wasn't being serious, and I just left. Since then, I've been getting calls from my brothers telling me I'm being immature and hurtful. I don't think so at all. So, am I? Am I the bad guy for switching to regular milk to provide my lactose intolerant roommate keeps stealing from me? Me and 2 other guys share an apartment together, and we split all the bills. The only thing we don't split costs on the groceries. Everyone's in charge of buying their own food, and we don't touch whatever doesn't belong to us in the fridge. We put our names on everything so no one gets mixed up. This issue has been going on almost a year and I'm sick of it. One of my roommates, R, keeps stealing my food. I get home from work and containers with my leftovers are sometimes missing. They have my name written on it, or my stuff finished too quick. My gallon of milk, for example. I buy almond milk because I like the taste, but it seems to finish after a week even though I've only drank once or twice. I confronted R about this a lot of times, and that's caused a lot of arguments. He outright denies it and tells me I'm crazy even though it's obvious. My other roommate and I carpool together because we both work the same early morning shifts around the same area, so I know it's not him. It's always after we go home, and ours already left for work that I notice my food's gone. My roommates also had a similar problem, but not as often as I do. I'm guessing because R doesn't like what he buys. The funny thing is R buys a lot for himself, and is even more stingy about his food. He will literally point out what he's when he comes back from grocery shopping and tells us not to touch it. Last week, my milk was nearly empty again and I got fed up. I went to the liquor store and brought regular dairy milk. I drank what was left on my almond milk and refilled the gallon with one of I bought. This was to catch proof R is the one stealing since he's lactose intolerant. The next day, Saturday, We got back from work and R is pissed. He yelled at me that he was stuck in the bathroom for 40 minutes with diarrhea because of my milk. He was using it to make ice shake. Hal responded with, "So, then you're the one who's been stealing." He freaking exploded. Yeah, he admitted he was sometimes drinking my milk and eating my food, but he was more mad that I switched milks than the fact that he was caught. I told him I wouldn't have done that if he would just stop taking my stuff from the fridge, or at least told the truth instead of trying to make it seem like I was making it up. My roommate backed me up and thought I was kind of funny he could pay back for stealing from us. It's a little tense right now, and my roommate told me R is trying to convince him to agree to kick me out. Little does he know, we are both looking to move somewhere else together, cause we are sick of his shit. I told some buddies what happened, and if you think I wasn't a bad guy for that, I feel like I'm not in the wrong here. He was taking my food and not even owning up to it, and I wanted to prove it. Does that make me the bad guy? Am I the bad guy for kicking out one of my bridesmaids for showing up in the wrong dress? My wedding was back on Saturday, December 31st, and I'm still getting backlash from this. So I want to know if this wasn't a bad guy move. In the country I live in, it's currently winter, and we got a fair amount of snow, so my wedding was a winter-themed wedding. The color theme was forest green and gold. My dress was obviously white, and I chose the color of my bridesmaid's dress to be forest green as well. My mother of honor dress was black, and everyone was to wear gold accessories. I have this friend, we'll call her Kat, that I asked to be one of my bridesmaids. When we were dress shopping and I told them the color theme I was going for, Kat immediately expressed that she thought forest green was a bad choice. She said that she thinks it's not a flattering color and thought I should choose something different and more girly. I said no because my wedding was winter themed and I thought the color would go perfect with the theme. She suggested pink, blue, even a red. I said no, but thanks for your opinion. She found out my mother of honor dress was black and asked if she could wear black too. I said no, only my mother of honor is wearing black. I paid for all the dresses. Fast forward to wedding day, everyone's getting their hair and makeup done and Kat shows up 30 minutes late holding a bag that looked like it had a dress inside. Asked her what his was for. She told me I was for later on at the reception if she got uncomfortable and wanted to change after pictures. I was like, okay, cool. So fast forward, we all dressed and walking down the stairs because the ceremony is beginning in 30 minutes and we were going to take some pictures before. Kate is the last person to come down and she wearing a black dress. At the time I was preoccupied taking pictures of my parents, but my mother of honor came over to me and made me aware of the situation. I confronted Kate and asked her what was going on. She said she hates her bridesmaid dress as the color is ugly and makes her look gross, so she's wearing black. I told her please go back and change. She refused and started walking away from me. I said I'm going to ask her one more time, and if she doesn't obligate, I'm calling security and kicking her out. She began yelling at me to hell off, so I called security and asked them to please escort her out. She started making a big scene, yelling how I'm such a witch, that I can't force her to wear anything, and that I'm a horrible, inconsiderate friend. The wedding went on, and I was truly amazing. Ever since the wedding, Kate has been blowing up my phone with texts saying some really nasty things and asking for the money back she spent on the black dress, since it was a waste and she didn't go to wear it. I had to block her number. Some of my other bridesmaids have been giving me shit saying that it was a little harsh kicking her out and embarrassing her like that, and that maybe I should give her the money back. Am I the bad guy for kicking her out?